Phil Spencer, Le Cuisinier de Ménage, the household chef. Welcome to the college series. So the college series idea came about because of my son. He's a senior in college, moving into an apartment with his buddies for his last year, and he doesn't really know how to cook much. But they do like to eat well, and they know how to do some of the basics. You know, how to make a hamburger, stuff like that. But he goes, hey, one of the things I've always wanted to know is how you make your breaded pork chops. So I said, that's when we came up with this idea and go, hey, why don't we do this? We'll make simple recipes for college kids or anybody else who's learning how to cook, and also inexpensive, especially in this day and age. We're all looking to save a buck here and there. So anyway, that's our plan. We're gonna make simple, easy recipes on a budget. So also in the series, we'll try to introduce some skills like knife skills, chopping, maybe some tips and advice that I've come across or that I hear, and I'll try and pass along to you as well. So anyway, let's get started with the college cooking series and those breaded pork chops. One of the most important things I've ever learned, and I love to say, is the word season and taste, season and taste, season and taste. And in this one, do not forget to season your flour. That makes a huge difference. So what I put down there is a recommendation, but even paprika, other spices would make it amazing. Italian seasonings, just don't forget to season the flour. So anyway, here we have our flour, which is our first ingredient. And I do what's called a wet hand and a dry hand. Here I'm going to use my left hand as my wet hand. And I'm going to make sure all the flour is covered on the pork chop. And then we'll take it over with my dry hand to the egg dip, egg wash. And then I'll go back to using my wet hand and make sure all the egg wash is all over the pork chop. And then my wet hand will drop it into the breadcrumb mixture. And these here are just store-bought breadcrumbs. You can take it up a notch and create your own with some old bread dried up. But these are just your basic store-bought breadcrumbs. And like I said, I used a little bit of my dry hand there to maybe get a handle on it, but I am going to go back to using my wet hand. I know that. And anyway, the plate in front is where we'll put the finished product. So here we're going to see it again one more time, and this time in a high-speed version so you can see it done really fast. Here I've heated the vegetable oil up, and I put enough oil in the pan to go about halfway up the pork chop. And if you have a direct read thermometer, awesome, because what we're looking for is about 350 degrees Fahrenheit on that direct read thermometer. If not, pay attention to these bubbles and see how they're doing, because that's about what a 350 heat level looks like. So anyway, we're going to do that, and we put the pork chops in till they're a golden brown, and you're going to be really, really close if you get golden brown on both sides to having an internal temperature of 160 degrees. That's what you're looking for it to be done. You can also just slice it with a knife, and if you want to see it white and barely just a hint of pink. And we'll show it again here one more time, just to show you those bubbles. I'm looking at those bubbles and I tell you it's a little over 350. But anyway, I wanted to get you another look to see what this looks like, and flip it up on, take a look at the bottom. When it's golden brown, it's time to flip over. One last flip, and oh yeah. Well, anyway, we're going to fast forward to the finished product, shake off all the fat, and there's my drying rack in the background there. Let it dry off, and the reason this made the college series is it was 4 pork chops, all this asparagus, all for less than $8, and it was awesome. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.